From a team that was barely hanging on to fourth place to a back-to-back race winner. Mercedes' turnaround this season even eclipsed McLaren's from last year, as we finally saw Lewis Hamilton claim his first victory since 2021 and his 104th in total. Hand on heart, Mercedes got a lot of help from the incompetent decisions McLaren made, but nevertheless it was a great drive that deserved a victory, and the team will not stop there, as new upgrades are coming earlier than expected, before the summer break. Hamilton's first victory since the 2021 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix owed as much to his superb feel in the wet and tyre management in the dry as it did Mercedes' aggressive strategy calls, and after a wait of over 2.5 years, 945 days to be exact, Lewis Hamilton is once again a Grand Prix winner in Formula 1. His triumph at Silverstone, where the 7-time F1 champion held his ground against 2024 championship leader Max Verstappen, marked an incredible 9th British GP victory, making Hamilton the first driver to win a single race that many times. If we're being honest, this was to be expected from Mercedes. Primarily, they have gained 10% extra aero testing time thanks to its F1 constructor's position, as F1's aerodynamic testing regulations dictate the amount of wind tunnel time and computational fluid dynamics (CFD) capacity that can be used for an aerodynamic testing period (ATP) of 2 months based on championship position. This is a sliding scale where the team finishing first in the championship starts the new season with 70% of the baseline allowance. This increases in 5% increments, reaching up to a 115% multiplier for the team finishing 10th in an effort to create closer competition on the grid. The allowances are reset in the middle of the year based on the championship order as of June 30th, following the results of the Austrian Grand Prix. Mercedes has benefited from this rule. After finishing second in last year's championship, it started the year with 75% of the baseline aerodynamic testing allowance for the first 3 ATPs. However, their slip to fourth in the constructors' standings increases their allowance to 85%. This means the Brackley team receives 32 more wind tunnel runs, 8 additional hours of wind-on time when airspeed exceeds 15 meters per second, 200 more allowable geometries, and 40 more hours of wind tunnel occupancy. This has helped Mercedes a lot, as they've improved the W15 to such an extent that the car that was on Alpine's level in testing is now comfortably competing against the likes of McLaren and Ferrari, and as we can see, is capable of beating Red Bull. This wasn't a race win gifted to Hamilton. He had to graft for it, he had to earn it. Even when he got the lead, when everyone changed back to slicks at the end, it still wasn't a sure thing that he was going to win, especially with Verstappen hunting both him and Norris down. But this is what Hamilton is capable of in the big moments. He might not quite have the ultimate pace over a single lap anymore, but he hasn't lost any of this intelligence behind the wheel or his racecraft. Mid-season development has always been a central aspect of Formula 1. However, the budget cap has raised the stakes across the field. Efficiency is rewarded and miscalculations are punished. For Mercedes, it was this reality that haunted them 12 months ago. The incorrect development path set out by Mike Elliott was hugely damaging. With James Allison, however, the situation at Brackley has been completely reversed. The turning point for the W15 came in Monaco when Mercedes introduced a new front wing specification. This was followed by a series of fresh components in the subsequent rounds, which put the W15 in its optimum operating window. Moreover, these changes corrected the previously inconsistent correlation at Brackley. Data from the wind tunnel now perfectly matches the reality on track, giving the team great confidence moving forward. A few weeks ago, James Allison spoke optimistically about the trajectory from Brackley. He emphasized that last year's limitations are firmly in the past and expressed confidence about the remainder of 2024. I also know what we have got coming. I also know what we are planning to further improve the car. By reappointing James Allison last year, the team committed to a new aerodynamic philosophy. After a tricky start to the year, Mercedes found their breakthrough in Monaco with a new configuration for the W15 that accurately correlated with the wind tunnel data. Since then, the German constructor has gone from strength to strength. This improvement is primarily because of teams' upgrades are now working as designed. As recently as 12 months ago, this was not the case. It's important to distinguish between theoretical downforce and usable downforce. In previous years, the theoretical downforce found in the Mercedes wind tunnel did not translate into usable downforce on track due to issues such as porpoising. As a result, the major adjustment at Brackley has been to pursue downforce without compromising aerodynamic stability. However, this problem is now firmly in the past. James Allison's sights are firmly set on the future, revealing a few weeks ago that upgrades will arrive at a rapid rate. Our challenge is just to keep those upgrades arriving at a pace that the others cannot keep up with. In doing that, we are just bullying our car to the front, by virtue of the effort made by everybody here in the factory over the coming weeks and months. Mercedes has proven time after time why they've been at the top of their sport for such a long time, even though they faced challenging times in the past couple of seasons. While what has been done cannot be undone, such as Hamilton's move to Ferrari, the team now has the perfect platform to prove to Max Verstappen that they have what he needs, the best car on the grid. Sure, 2 wins, one of which came through luck after the Lando Norris incident in Austria, are not enough to prove this definitely. However, the development path, the front row lockout, and the dominant pace at Silverstone show that a driver with Verstappen's skills could easily win races with that car. This is not to take anything away from Russell or Hamilton, but we've seen how competitive they can be when more performance is unlocked from the car. This trajectory is likely to continue in the upcoming races, after James Allison's latest statement. It's easy to understand why Mercedes is taking their time to announce the second driver alongside Russell for 2025 onwards, as Toto Wolff never misses a chance to throw a dig at Red Bull and stir things up with Verstappen. While it might seem hard to believe that Verstappen could leave Red Bull given his closeness with Christian Horner, if the team fails to maintain the most competitive car on the grid, he could easily move to Mercedes to continue his dominance. It would be interesting to see whether Hamilton made the wrong move to join Ferrari after all the hype has simmered down, especially as the Maranello team struggles. Their performance at Silverstone compared to other teams bringing massive upgrade packages was disappointing, as seen in the lap times on both Saturday and Sunday. Seeing Leclerc so downcast in his statement, saying he has no idea why things are going wrong, will definitely open Hamilton's eyes. It's clear he will demand changes next year. Hamilton is the type of driver to bring revolutionary, game-changing energy to a team, which Ferrari needs more than ever right now. However, given Ferrari's current state, many would bet that if Verstappen were to move to Mercedes, he would see more success from 2025 or 2026 onwards than Hamilton with Ferrari. Assuming that the German outfit avoids the downward spiral currently happening at Ferrari, there is every reason to expect more wins down the line. After all, this year's W15 represents a relatively new aerodynamic philosophy for the team. Unlike Red Bull, who have maintained a consistent concept since 2022, Mercedes have spent the last 12 months in transition. Only a relatively modest step forward is necessary from Mercedes, especially since Red Bull, McLaren and Ferrari have already brought the lion's share of their updates. Although the 2023 season was painful, the rest of 2024 is an opportunity to capitalize on the sacrifices made last season. In any case, unlike previous years, Toto Wolff's personnel are not restricted by a fundamental lack of understanding with this generation of cars. The Silver Arrows now have the necessary foundation to move forward with purpose. Whilst cooler conditions still favored the W15, the car produced in Brackley has proven increasingly resilient across different conditions. Provided Mercedes can maintain their current trajectory, there's plenty of reason to be optimistic for the future. The Brackley-based squad has already been strong in the slow corners, so what will Hungary be like is the question. Can Mercedes put another car on the front row there and get both cars on the podium this time? Ferrari has unfortunately gone down the wrong road with their recent floor upgrade, and Red Bull is finding it tougher now that they really have competition from 3 teams. But as neutrals, we are happy to see this many teams fighting for wins once again in Formula 1, in a season that was not projected to be a competitive one at all, judging by the first few races.